This is Moments of Truth, the webcast with and for customer success professionals. I'm Andrew Marks, co founder of Success Hacker, and today I am joined by Disha Gosalia, VP of Customer Success and Services at New Relic, a digital intelligence company that delivers full stack visibility and analytics to the enterprise. Disha, welcome to the program and thanks for making time for me today. Why don't you tell our viewers and listeners more about yourself and your responsibilities at New Relic?
Of course. First of all, Andrew, thank you for having me. I'm excited to go through this conversation with you today. So my role in New Relic is I run the customer success organization for the Americas team, and you know so customer success is really a top-down, very mission critical function and role at New Relic. So we're basically responsible for making sure our customers are getting the value out of our product. We measure adoption and time to value for our customers, eventually leading to renewals and expansion.
Excellent. Your team covers from what I've read, about 2/3 of the total company revenue. Correct?
That's right. Yeah. In New Relic, Americas is almost 70% of our global revenue. Mhm.
That's great. Excellent. Well, thank you for that overview. When we were prepping for this conversation, we've known each other for a couple of years now. You and I have both had careers in customer facing roles. They go way back even before SaaS was a thing. So we've both seen a lot of evolution of customer focused services and support over the last 15 plus 20 years, what have you. But in particular though, I wanted to focus on the more recent past. How has the customer success discipline changed from your perspective over, say, the last 5 years, especially when it comes to this new SaaS subscription economy?
Oh, geez. Yeah, that is a great question, Andrew. And when I look back, I started or I formed my first customer success team, I want to say almost 10 years ago, where at the current company I was at then, they were just transforming the business from a perpetual license-based model to hosted, subscription-based. And so at that time, it was just based out of need, right? It was realized that our customers now need more from a typical post-sales organization, which was, in a license model, mainly reactive, technical customer care, customer support type of motion. Two, it's going to require a lot more account management type of motion. And so the need was at that time, how do you, make sure that the KPIs that you promise to your customers in the contract are being met? How do you help your customers with escalations, especially your large customers who, renewing them quarter over quarter is definitely very important, to meet your growth and business objectives. So, and that's how the customer success discipline started, just really based off the need of this evolving business model. I think fast forward, as the SaaS business has matured, the market has kind of understood how to measure progress and success for SaaS companies, right? So let's say it's customer lifetime value or cost of customer acquisition, net retention, churn rates. They've become like the metrics and the topic of discussion in every SaaS company's boardroom and investor calls. And so this is where I think this discipline has started to take kind of its own shape, which really separates itself from, what you call the traditional customer care and, those reactive support models, and even from sales, right? I mean, I think some companies, as they start this, do end up putting some of these metrics, time, customer lifetime value or retention into the sales account management portfolio. But as they grow and they get more customers, they realize that, it is a completely different motion. It doesn't necessarily always intersect with a sales motion. I mean, there are intersection points, but it does require its own motion. And there is something to be said about knowing, for a customer that, this person who's helping me doesn't necessarily get paid only if I spend more money with them, right? So I think it helps remove that conflict of interest type of mindset in the customer's head. So yeah, to answer your question, it has evolved a lot over the years. Definitely, if I look back 10 years, most recently in the last 5 years, it started becoming a very critical role. You will see, even in LinkedIn jobs, like how many customer success executive roles that are out there, chief customer officers almost there in, every C-level board role. So yeah, I think it is taken a good, yeah, it is matured quite a bit and has progressed
I
a
love
lot in
how
the
you
last
recognize
years.
that it's and I've been having these conversations lately that it's not a sales motion,
Mhm.
right? There's a and not to take anything away from salespeople, it's a tough job to get them in the door, but we got to keep them. And it's not a sales motion; it's a value realization motion. It's it's a different and there's a back and forth. Actually, there's a back and forth going on right now on LinkedIn that I'm looped into about, does customer success, should customer success be given a number,
Mhm.
right? Should they be responsible for a number? And would love to get your perspective on that. I think they should, from the perspective of, you need to create a situation as a customer success manager where the customer is going to renew or expand or upsell. That's part of your job in
Right.
customer success.
No, I'm totally with you, Andrew. I think at the end of the day, we are running a business, and if it is a critical function of the business, you are supposed to be accountable for those metrics that drive the health of the business, right? I mean, if I, let's say, as a chief customer officer, I'm sitting in the boardroom, I got to be responsible for important metrics that are being talked about in that boardroom. So yeah, that number, most companies, do have retention as, part of this, VP customer success or SVP customer success role. Some have net retention and expansion. I think just depends on how the business is laid out, and um, how the sales team is also goaled, whether new revenue is more important or expansion is more important. But that number needs to be there. However, what is more important is, um, those are kind of the lagging indicators. What's more important is, how do you get to that lagging indicators and the work that you have to do, which is the leading indicators. And um, you know how some successful customer success teams can be run, by giving equal importance to both. um, you have to be very careful of it not becoming like a sales quota driven, because the renewals can kind of become a quota too, if you're only focusing on those lagging indicators.
100% agree with you. 100%. We talk about that as well. These revenue and churn and NPS, and
Mhm.
they're all lagging indicators. We need to make sure that in order for us to affect those, we need to be looking at the leading indicators. Are the right people doing the right things in the right ways and at the right times, in order to have an effect on what we want at the end of this, right? The more control we have over the customer journey, how the customer experiences us and our product and our brand, the more likely we are to affect those trailing indicators in the right way. So from your experience, what are some of the qualities of the most effective customer success teams?
Yeah. So, as I started, I've seen. customer success matured, and even in different companies, how it's done different ways. What I've come to the conclusion of, and in companies that I have seen more growth and actually loved working at, and have seen my team thrive at, is where customer success is really top down. It's like kind of the DNA of the company. I mean, you will see organizations, maybe based on the CEO, it's either very sales driven or very product driven. I think the magic happens when you have that seat on the table, which is either the chief customer officer, or could also be the chief revenue officer, that has the most influence and sees the benefit of investing in customer success. I don't think it can be done half-heartedly or partially. You kind of have to go all in this motion.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think number one, if I look at the most effective customer success teams, it is a company and an organization where the CEO, the senior leaders on the board, and embrace it. It's a company-wide cross-organizational accountability. Like, you call customer success a team sport, even though there is an organization, but customer success itself is that, accountability across the organization. Number two, for customer success team itself, and I touched on this a little bit, is you want to make sure that their motions are more customer value led motions versus renewals and risk and churn led motions. And so when you think of your KPIs and how you MBO the team, the incentives you provide to the team, they need to be a really good combination of those lagging indicators and the leading indicators. And to me, the leading indicator totally has to have to be around, how do you measure the value your customer is getting out of the product, and are you being gold on that. And then I think that helps with, sort of this next step. What I'm going to talk about is, as a customer success manager, a CSM, you obviously need to be really good at your product, right? You need to understand, your technology and the product that you are providing to your customers, how it helps them. But at the same time, you also need to start becoming an expert in that domain. Which is what I feel like the CSMs need to be bringing, that consultative part of that your domain and your expertise to your customers. Start being thought leaders on that. I'll give you an example. So I was a customer of New Relic when I was working at GE. I ran the customer support team at GE. My team was responsible for, what we call as the network operations center, the incident command center. And at that point, we had like really high and long resolution times. And, we were using New Relic. It was one of the tools we were using. But we had this problem. What we did is just, asked, our New Relic solution architect who had come once, is, how can we, like, what can New Relic do to help us? And they not only helped us with, well, here is how you use our product, and we can help you train people on the product, but really helped us put together some simple checklists, which helped us with influencing our engineering team, and it kind of created this whole program and actually a culture change, which was very much outside. Like 80% of that, I think, was done outside the product, because it was more about a process change, culture change. They invited us over, and at how their SRE function is ran, and kind of we looked at, how they just do process and how they do incident commander type of activities, and how they use chatbots, and we implemented some of that, which is nothing to do with their product, but I think that just grew our product consumption by 150%. It improved our KPIs so much.
They demonstrated domain expertise, right? And you got comfortable with them. You wanted to learn more, and you're like, oh, these people really understand what we're trying to achieve and what we have to deal with, and so
Totally.
opens you up with the consultative approach. You're going, taking that consultative approach, you're going to be more apt to share. It's like, oh, these people know what they're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. And you could be a really huge enterprise, which he was, but then a small company like New Relic is a domain expertise in that field. They have customers like you who've made the same mistake, gone through the same digital transformation journey, and you can learn from that. And I know like our a lot of our enterprise customers are super hungry for that kind of knowledge.
Yeah. And all it takes is you sitting down and understanding their business, understanding their objectives. Sometimes you can come up with things, solutions to problems they didn't necessarily realize they had.
Yeah, yeah,
If you take the right approach, you do the active listening, you ask the open-ended questions, all
yeah.
those things, right?
Yeah, totally. And actually, that's where I give a plug into Success Hackers too. In my that journey to develop more consultative approach with our CSMs, you need to provide some basic training, which some it's not doesn't get taught in product led classes. These are things that obviously come by experience, but they're also skills that can be developed, and they have to be reminded on a regular basis, right? It's kind of like you have to brush up the skills. When you get on the ski slope every winter, that first turn is going to be hard, but as you do it again, you become confident. So if you do some of these brush ups, either once a year or even more frequently, a quarterly basis, have these training group activities for the CSMs, it becomes a muscle memory.
Exactly. You establish a habit. Hey, that's
Yeah.
why our team subscription is so popular. So what comes next? How do you see CSM teams evolving further, and what specifically are you working on next that's going to be transformative at New Relic over the next 18 to 24 months?
Yeah. So, I already sort of mentioned about the consultative approach. So, we are literally, I want to say, the CSMs at New Relic are literally changing the conversations with our customer to lead with business objectives and create very prescriptive success plans that lead to value realization. And I'll double click a little bit on that, right? Um, what I mentioned earlier, and actually you touched on that too, if you just go in and ask the customers, okay, what can we do for you? Or how do you measure success? You're going to get a lot of, either head nods or just be like, we don't know, just implement your product. You're,
Right.
yeah, yeah, that's right. Just deploy it. And so, we realized that we do spend a lot of time in talking about ROI and calculating ROI in the sales process, right? Usually, most companies do have this business value consultant type of a role that helps the pre-sales team is really making the big 6-figure, 7-figure deals to show that ROI. But why do we lose that in when you get into the user journey and the post-sales journey? So becoming really prescriptive, here are the 4 different areas that we can impact our business in. Here are the metrics and KPIs, and we will show you how to measure them. Um, made is actually changing the game for us, right? Our CSMs can now go out and actually have specific KPIs by industry, and knowing a little bit about our customer and their business can actually recommend, here's what we've done for another healthcare company, and here's what we want to do with you. We do a lot of times, get customers who would say, well, right now we're just keeping the lights on. Well, that's fine. We have lights on type of metrics. While doing lights on, how about we still help we measure things? So I think that's what is the next step. I heard this somewhere, the days of concierge CSMs are over, which I totally believe is true. there's so much information, so much self-service. AI is getting into everywhere. Our customers don't just want to call somebody and ask basic questions, because that is an expectation that that's available out of the product, right? So where do the CSMs go now? They have to have this business acumen, become consultative, be able to really tie what your product is doing to their top business initiatives, right? I had a customer executive tell me that, hey, here are our top 5 business initiatives. And if your business doesn't fit into the top 5 initiatives, it is thrown out. And in COVID, that is happening more and more, right? There's budget cuts, and at the board level, they're deciding your initiatives, and anything that doesn't come in that initiatives like literally takes a back seat. And if you are a technology provider that is not able to tie your your value to their business objectives, you may be the one that gets put in that back burner. So yeah, what comes next is basically how we're making sure that our CSMs own that value realization conversation with our customers, and how we train them to get there. Be more prescriptive with our customers, be more consultative, and it really comes from the good intent that, yes, we want to help you. It is a hard market out there. And the market that New Relic is in, we help our customers, have better digital products so that they can serve their customers better. And be, and that is a competitive edge, right? Today, the digital
Important.
tool, yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah, it's a competitive edge. And if we can help our customers, have that competitive edge, of course, we become that valuable partners to them.
Oh yeah. Anytime that you can help your customers serve their customers better, so
Totally.
valuable. But I want to challenge one thing that you said though, the age of the concierge CSM. I kind
Yeah,
of disagree, because when I think of concierge, I
yeah,
think of the concierge in a hotel, right?
yeah.
I go down to the concierge and I say, hey, listen, I want to go to the theater. I want to have this type of experience, this type of meal. I want to get this kind of value out of my stay in
Mhm.
your city. And the concierge is there to say, well, then you want to go see this show, and I'm going to make you reservations for this restaurant, and you're going to love this. You're going to get a $10, $15, $20 of value out of every dollar you're spending with us. That's exactly what we're doing. That's exactly what our CSM should be doing, right?
Yeah. Well, Andrew, I think for me, I don't go to a concierge because I think I feel like Google search and Yelp and right, all of those tools have kind of taken over that for me.
See that?
And so I expect that, yes, if I'm going to a concert, either, it is a very unique place, or I'm looking for a unique experience. I may go and ask a concierge when I'm at Hawaii that, oh, I want to, have this specific diving type of an experience. Where will you take me? But the generic things about, restaurants and, what are the public places to visit or visitors, those are all available, and I think that's what I meant.
That's valid.
Uh,
That's valid. That's valid. Aren't we all imagining, especially right now, that we're in Hawaii?
Yes, totally. Let's do that.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. Cool. Hey, Disha, this was wonderful. Thank you for your time. I enjoyed having you on the program, and I appreciate you making some time for us today. And we definitely need to do this again soon.
Yeah. Love the conversation. I think we can talk a lot more on these topics, double click into things. So yeah, let's definitely set up more time to chat.
Excellent. Thanks.
Thank you.